Morning, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at Wild Man Lifts. I'm your host, Wild Man. I hope everybody had a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and that you enjoyed your time with your friends, family, and loved ones. On today's episode, I'm going to attempt to work off that turkey and that macaroni and cheese and that stuffing by doing an overhead strongman workout. So let's jump in and let's get to it. So today's giant set was going to include the log clean and press away. This is a staple in strongman movements and, in my opinion, a true test of overhead strength. A lot of people can clean and press barbells, but pressing a log overhead is truly hard. And I'm going to be doing farmer walks in between. And this is relatively light. It's just to get my traps warmed up mainly and my back. And I'm also going to be doing jump ropes in between for some light conditioning and to get my timing and my shoulders prepped for the work. Now, as I continue to go up in weight, I wanted to discuss why I do, specifically on this day, I do farmer walks in between my strength sets and jump ropes. Farmer walks are actually a staple in strongman as well. And very rarely can you use straps when it comes to farmer walks, because farmer walks is actually a grip test. So when you see them on World's Strongest Man, you'll see a lot of competitors use straps when it comes to the deadlift, but when it comes to the farmer walks, they're not allowed to do that because that kind of defeats the purpose. The purpose of the farmer walk is to test your strength. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do I get my traps? My traps always look, pretty big. And the answer to that is farmer walks. If you want big traps, then you got to do heavy farmer walks for distance. And that will get your traps lit up. Now here comes my top set. And if you recall my last video, I actually missed this. I was trying to hit 2 repetitions for a press away. And I'm wearing that little dish towel there because last time the log pinched my stomach into my belt last time, and it really hurt and left a mark. So there's one, and you can see it goes up pretty easily. But I should have kicked that foot back a little bit because this ended up becoming a tricep press. I'm really glad I got it overhead, but it was really ugly, and I had to use brute strength to get it over my head, which isn't very efficient and not what I'm training for. But I am glad that it went up regardless. Now for my variation giant set, I decided to do the log incline bench again, but instead of using it out of the rack, I decided just to roll it up. Because I kind of found rolling it up versus, trying to use the rack as stabilizing actually works my upper back a lot better. So I might be more of a fan this way because this is just mainly for reps and to really work on my lockout power. You see how that last log lift was ugly, but I was able to still press it overhead just because my triceps were strong at the lockout. This is how I get strong at lockout, because it doesn't go all the way down to my chest, as you can see, because the log is so cumbersome. So I'm mainly just working lockout pressing with my triceps, and I'm overloading that because that's the same weight that I just missed, but yet I can press them out for an easy 10 just from being in an incline position. Now going back to the traps talk, a lot of people want to know if I do isolation movements for traps. Like, do I, overload something or an implement and just do trap shrugs or anything like that? And the answer is no. I prefer to do strongman movements and farmer walks, and that alone has built my traps and my upper back better than anything I can imagine. Now here's my top set for the variation giant set. This is 240 pounds, and this is the most reps that I'm ever going to do. I was trying to shoot for 10. I ended up, spoiler alert, only getting to 8, but I was really happy with that because it's hard to do this motion, especially from trying to roll it up and trying to get it all stabilized and get my back arch straight. So I was just happy that I was able to bang those out for a few reps. Ooh, the strength giant set and the variation giant set is complete. Now I'm going to do my assistance and my accessory giant sets. Now I have a theory. It's called the X-wing theory. And it's how I like to program my strongman movements. And I'll do a separate video about how to do that on another day and how I like to program that. But all you need to know now is I'm going to now increase the weight of the farmer walks, and I'm going to decrease the weight on my shoulders. And this is how I've been able to train for a long period of time without zapping my central nervous system and having to take more rest days, or just programming a gym day and then a strongman day. I like to do them both on the same day. So here we go. So we're decreasing the weight a lot on the shoulders. And I didn't really know where that number was going to be. So I just started with the 55-pound dumbbell and did the seated shoulder press with those. My shoulders were pretty fatigued, but these seemed to be a little too light, so I had to up them up. This is what I'm talking about, the X-wing theory though. So now the farmer walks are going to go up. So now the shoulders have been zapped and we're just doing assistance work. And now we're loading and overloading the farmer walks by a lot. So these are 176 pounds each for 352 pounds total for 10-meter walks. And then I'm doing the bike erg in between for my knee and for some light conditioning. So I decided just to settle with the 75-pound dumbbells instead and just doing 3 rounds with these. But I really like doing this kind of training because I really pressed hard and worked hard on the shoulders, and now they're fatigued. So now I'm just trying to finish them off. But then I started light with the farmer walks, if you recall. So now I've upped the weight a lot, and doing that is allowing my traps to get a lot of work. So is my upper back and my grip, because this is a big stabilizing movement pattern that a lot of people can deadlift a massive amount of weight, but then you ask them to, take 60% of their 1 rep max on deadlift and ask them to walk it for 10 meters, and it just slips right out of their hands, or they just can't do it because deadlift is more of a static movement. Farmer carries are more of a dynamic movement, meaning it carries over more to athletics. And I accidentally hit my camera over on my last set. Camera proved to be fine though, but these things happen. And speaking of more dummy movements, these kettlebells actually go back to right where I just started. So I was like, darn it, I'm gonna have to carry it for 10 meters and then turn it around and walk it back for another 10 meters just to save myself some time. So I did that for 20 meters on my very last set, which, really good. And then my wife was calling me for dinner, so I had to wrap it up. Ooh, and we are done. Training session is checked off and winter has come. After Thanksgiving, I like to start what I call winter training, which is completely different. If you'll notice, a lot of football players, when it starts getting into the winter months, because they usually train and then compete in their games when it's warm outside. When it gets to be winter, or if a southern team goes and visits a northern team while it's cold, it results in a lot of injuries. And that's just because it takes a lot longer for the blood to get into your muscles and to keep you warm. I encourage you to take a step back, maybe start with light weight again for high repetitions, and really make sure your body is ready and warmed up and primed as it gets colder outside, so you can get stronger and reduce the likelihood of injuries. Until next time, thank you.